I want you to tell me what these fellas looked like.
Well, the little guy, he was kind of funny looking.
In what way?
I don't know, just funny looking.
Can you be any more specific?
I couldn't really say. He wasn't circumcised.
Was he funny looking apart from that?
Yeah.
So, you were having sex with a little fella then?
Uh-huh.
Is there anything else you can tell me about him?
No. Like I say, he was funny looking. More than most people, even.
What about the other fella?
He was a little older. You know, he looked like the Marlboro Man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But maybe I'm saying that, because he smoked a lot of Marlboros.
Uh-huh.
You know, like a subconscious type of thing.
Oh, yeah, that can happen.
Yeah.
Hey, they said they were going to the Twin Cities.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, is that useful to you?
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to another sweet, sweet Christmas month. That's right, Christmas month is here and upon us. We're running a little bit behind thanks to Halloween, month and a half, month and 3/4, and then Halloween 2 months. But we're back with another season of Christmas month. Now, we're throwing an extra one in there just because we didn't get as many out as we liked for Halloween 2 months. So we are now going to give an extra one, like a little treat for all you active listeners out there, because we're such kind-hearted individuals. Well,
I am
anyway.
anyway.
I am the kind one. I am.
Right.
I suggested this film. Trevor told me to go fuck myself and fuck our listening audience. That's a quote, people.
Not a quote by me, though.
So, we be honest with you, fucking Trevor kept bugging me to do this one, and it has nothing to do with Christmas, but it's snow. So, There you go. It has snow. And what's the first thing we think of Christmas? Baby Jesus? Nah. Santa? Nope. Christmas tree? Nope. Presents? Nope.
I don't.
Snow.
I think of Silent Night, Deadly Night, but that's just me.
Because you're a sick fuck. All right, we're here to talk Fargo. Joel and Ethan Coen. Pretty much, this is the one that made them solidified directors. They had some nice outings before that, very independent artists. But Fargo was the one that commercially hit a home run for them, as well as award ceremony time.
They also worked on The Evil Dead. They're good friends with Sam Raimi.
Yeah, no, they've got a pretty good track record. They know Sam. That's why Bruce Campbell has a cameo in it. Quite funny. But yeah, they're Minnesota boys, where I was raised. And
tell me this, Ciaran. There's been a lot of argument and debate over the accents used in Fargo. Are they, obviously not everyone talks like that, like they talk here, but are they exaggerated?
Yeah, it's almost they almost have their own language. It's almost like a Scandinavian, Canadian kind of accent.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
No, I appreciate that. But are they exaggerated for this film?
I personally think it's exaggerated. I think the effect, the reason it's slightly exaggerated for this, and I could be completely wrong, and if I am, I apologize to Fargo. But I think the film deliberately exaggerated their accents like Frances McDormand and Norm, the two nicest people in the film, would come off kind of simpletons because the accent comes off kind of, I don't know how to put it.
I know what you mean. I totally get that.
But they're very smart people. And so I think that was just to mislead the viewing audience, if I'm not mistaken.
I know what you mean. I remember when I first watched this, but it must have been about 97, whenever it was just released on video, and me and a couple of mates had it out on video, and, we were expecting a sort of, a Tarantino-esque crime caper, which it sort of is in a way, and we were sort of a bit sort of, like, bemused by the accents. We were like, what's going on here? Why are they talking like this? But,
No, I mean, you can even hear what you're talking about and all those
yeah.
Canadians.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear that. I can't speak of it as exaggerated, but I think it is for the reason I said. I think that we're supposed to, these guys aren't going to solve much, but they end up being the
a bit of
people.
a rug pull.
Yeah, exactly. But
again, Margie is a bit of a Columbo.
Yeah, Columbo's the perfect way. Columbo is always a goof. He's always, but at the same time, he's always one step ahead.
Yeah, it's basically a disguise where they pretend they're a bit silly and a bit dishevelled and stuff, and but basically they always get their guy.
But yeah, please, people of Fargo, don't take that. I wasn't trying to belittle you guys. But I'd never heard an accent that thick. Let's put it that way.
Yes,
but
well, I'm
but you
thinking
keep in mind, Fargo is kind of like on the border of North Dakota and Minnesota. So,
and actually, Fargo only actually features at the beginning of this film. They were going to actually apparently call this Brainerd, which where most of the action takes place.
Yes, I've been to Brainerd.
It just didn't really have a ring to it.
Yeah, no, I've been to Brainerd. Paul Bunyan, that statue is there.
Yes.
It is very famous little town. Yeah, so the Coen brothers started out. See, the Coen brothers are hit or miss with me. It's kind of like David Cronenberg. When Cronenberg goes really into body horror, I kind of get away from his stuff. But when it comes to more grounded Cronenberg, I like. Not to say most of his stuff is body horror anyway, but I like Dead Zone and Scanners. I like early Cronenberg. Then he kind of went back.
What about some of his more later stuff, like A History of Violence and stuff?
History of Violence, I like.
That'd
be another one I liked. He did one called, which is kind of body horror, but I kind of like with Jude Law called Existence Z. But anyways, they're a lot like him. And when I break down the Coen brothers, fucking incredibly talented team there. But I don't like when they go super quirky. Now, this one, yeah, they go there quirky, as we talked about the accents, what we believe is what they did on purpose. But that was just a misdirect, is why they did that. But when they go to like Lady Killers, Barton Fink, Raising Arizona, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Hudsucker Proxy,
yes.
And people are going to hate me for this, I'm not a fan of Big Lebowski. And even though they cast well and all the actors give their A game, I'm just not a fan of the quirkiness. I love Blood Simple, Old Country for Old Men, Burn After Reading, which is kind of quirky, Miller's Crossing, and True Grit. Those are my go-to for those guys. But even the ones I didn't like, I still somewhat enjoy. And man, like Tarantino, they know how to cast everything perfectly.
I would have to rewatch a lot of their films, to be honest with you. I saw No Country for Old Men in the cinema, and that's the only time I've seen it, and I was a bit underwhelmed by it. I was a fan of The Big Lebowski at the time. I liked it, but it is quite quirky. I would have to watch Miller's Crossing again. So yes, I would. But Fargo has always been my go-to for. In fact, it's one of my favorite films of all time, to be honest. So it's always been my go-to for the Coen brothers. But regarding their other work, there's some I haven't seen. To be honest, I haven't seen True Grit. But I would have to revisit some of the other ones that I have seen, because obviously there's a passage of time there and I might look at it differently, such as The Big Lebowski and, other ones, like Miller's Crossing and No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, I mean, all those films, a lot of them will either cast A-listers at the time, or they'll have up-and-comers, or character actors that need their big break. And Fargo is a perfect example. Steve Buscemi, Peter Stormare, Frances McDormand, William H. Macy, and John Carroll Lynch, who I forgot is in this, who I really enjoy. And these are all household names now in the biz.
Yes.
And I do think it's because of this film. And especially Peter Stormare, who was a nobody at the time. And
William H. Macy wasn't very well known either.
No, that's what I'm saying. None of them were, really.
Yeah.
But Frances McDormand obviously is married to Joel Coen. So she's been in nine of their films.
Probably the most famous cast member at the time here was Buscemi.
I wouldn't. He did. Yeah, he made it. Well, that's probably
with Tarantino and stuff.
But
yeah,
he was still up and coming. I really think.
Oh yeah.
I would probably say Frances McDormand because of her work with the Coen brothers earlier. Blood Simple is such a wonderful film. God,
she was in Darkman and stuff. Sam Raimi's Darkman.
And she did a lot of commercial stuff. But yeah, so let's just jump into Fargo. Now I haven't seen this one in a while, and I watched it again, and it used to be my favorite Coen brother, but it's dropped quite a bit, and that's just because since this movie came out, Old Country for Old Men, Burn After Reading, and True Grit all came out. So, you know what I mean? It kind of just drops a little bit on the chain.
I know what you mean. I would say, I've watched it many times over the years since I first watched it, around 97 on video, and I would say that doesn't quite have the power that it used to have over me. I still think it's great, but it's not. It just doesn't quite have the power that it did over me. On rewatching it here for the podcast.
We'll dive into that a little bit. I'm on the fence with it. Is it as good as it once was? And a lot of films do lose steam. That's not their fault. That's just, we've been spoiled with this kind of style of filmmaking since. Sam Raimi did A Simple Plan. You had The Heist come out. I think that was David Mamet. You had all these kind of, little tales from small town USA. Kind of what Lynch started, doing.
I was just about to say that.
And so that's kind of, you had all these coming. So we've been spoiled with it. So
Yes.
I think that's why it might lose some of its. But I try my best not to do that because it's not fair to the film. It's kind of like watching a film with really, cheesy effects back in the 80s. Well, it's not their fault. That's what they had to work with. So you kind of got to get rid of that huge CGI world we all live in now and appreciate the work that goes into that. Same concept.
100%.
Same concept.
100%.
Wow, that was well spoken for a Saturday afternoon. So,
and for a Citizen Freedom podcast.
Yeah, I know. Fuck. I think there was something with more than 2 syllables in there.
Yeah. Don't worry, folks. We'll be dumbing down soon enough when we get to the next film on our podcast.
Yeah, the one. Yeah. We'll talk about that one, Trevor. The one you picked.
No chance. But anyway, yeah, go.
Now watching this, I'm not going to break it down as much. I don't have as many notes on this one because I know the film quite well. But when watching this again, a lot of these characters and what I thought about them have completely changed. I remember when I first saw Fargo and you meet Jerry. Per Jerry, he's got the bully father-in-law and he's got a beautiful wife and he's got the dealership that his father-in-law pretty much lets him run. And the funny thing is, watching it back then, I was like, "Oh, Jerry, what did you do? Why'd you screw this up? Oh, you idiot! I feel sorry for you." I think he's a douche. I actually think the character is an asshole.
He's worse than that. Jerry is a cold-blooded sociopath, but he hides behind the facade of being this inept, sort of bumbling car salesman.
Yeah.
He is a cold-blooded sociopath. He is the worst character here.
And
it's because of him. That's like 7 people die. And he's such a cardly little fucking weasel as well.
Yeah, and you almost think that would be the when I first saw it though. Do you get what I'm saying? He played off like he was aloof, and when you watch it now, Wade, the father-in-law, wasn't a bad guy.
Yeah,
actually, he actually was going to give him a finder's fee of everything doing. He was under the misconception about this parking lot thing. He didn't try to mislead Jerry, and also the only reason he was kind of a jerk with him is because he saw through him.
Yes, exactly. Jerry is by far the worst character here, and there's some pretty despicable characters, including the Peter Stormare and the Buscemi characters. But rewatching it, basically Jerry and Marge are 2 sides of the same coin, in that basically they're polar opposites. But they both give off this facade, going back to what you were saying about the accents and stuff, of they're a bit silly, they're a bit stupid, and they're a bit slow and all this, but really they're actually cold and calculating. But obviously Marge she's a good guy, she's doing it for the right reasons, whereas Jerry is a complete selfish, cold-blooded sociopath. So he is, but again, brilliantly performed, brilliantly written, absolutely superb.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we talked about with the accents kind of hiding their true, how smart these people really are, I think they did that with Jerry and his bumbling ways. He's a bumbling goof, kind of like we talked about with Columbo. And so you kind of see that, and you're like, "Oh, come on, Jerry, you know better than this." But once you peel the layers and you watch it again through the podcast eyes, this guy is the true villain of the entire film.
Oh, big time. And you're sort of tricked into believing he's just a bit silly, and you sort of feel sorry for him, especially that brilliant scene where basically Wade, the father-in-law, takes the deal off him, and he goes out and he starts trying to get the ice and the snow off his car windshield, and he just loses it. It's like the straw that broke the camel's back. So again, great, brilliantly written and performed, because you do feel sorry for him in a way, and again because he's a human, brilliantly written sort of characters. People are like that. There's different shades to their characters, and just brilliantly realized.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the way the film delivery plays out, though. Despite the father-in-law taking the parking lot deal from him, it was just.
Well,
you still feel sorry for him, because you don't. At that time, it's not till really where Marge approaches him in the car dealership the second time, where this guy's a prick, and that's kind of where I start turning. The first half, you kind of like, oh, what's this guy doing? Oh, don't fuck up. But the second act, you're like, this guy's a dick. He's caused this. This is his fucking fault.
And he's a hell of a lot smarter and calculating than he originally think.
I don't think he is.
He is.
No.
He does get in too deep. He does get in way too deep.
Yeah, but he fucks up everything.
Yes, I know, but he is prepared just through his own greed and incompetence. He is prepared. Yes, he's daft in some ways in terms of he's like a rubbish car salesman. He's not a good businessman. And, and he lies and lies and lies, just gets deeper and deeper. So it does. But he is prepared ultimately for his own selfishness and for financial reasons to put his wife and his son at their lives at risk with these two scumbags, played by Buscemi and Stomer.
Yeah, let's jump on them now. About Carl and Gare.
They're brilliant.
They're good, great banter, and you can see now the Coen brothers have always had smart, quirky banter all the way from starting with Blood Simple. So they've always had that. So I hate saying it had a Tarantino feel, because the Coen brothers did have this. This is the way they work, but it does. The famous scene I love in this scene is when they're going into Minneapolis, and Carl's just trying to have a conversation with Gare, and he just won't say anything. Okay, you want to sit in complete silence? That's fine. I can see the complete silence, but Buscemi won't shut up.
Yeah, no. Oh, they're two complete opposites again, two sides of the same coin. And he goes, two can play that game, you fucking mute. Will I tell you to say anything?
But like the rug pull they do with the accents and with Jerry's character, they do this with these guys. Because in the beginning, you kind of like these guys. They're just
100%.
two idiots.
Especially Buscemi.
Yes, especially Buscemi. He thinks he's the cool guy, but he's not really. And what works too, the kidnapping scene. Marge is, I thought, not Marge, of what's the
wife?
The wife's name again?
Jerry's
Jean.
Wife. Yes.
Jean.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Jeannie. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jean, the most innocent character of the entire group, she gets kidnapped, and that whole scene in the beginning is hilarious.
Yep.
But then it turns to this woman's actually being attacked. So it
goes from slapstick to quite sinister.
When he's looking through the window and she's just staring at him.
Yeah, in the mirror. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he obviously breaks in and she runs and tries to escape.
But it goes back to the slapstick as well, because she has the shower curtain wrapped around her. And it's like, it's like something that, like, the Marx Brothers, you know what I mean? Type thing, slapstick sort of stuff. Not the Marx Brothers. What do you call them?
Keystone Cops kind of stuff.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. But that all quickly changes. Movie's not like an hour and a half, so it goes really fast.
Yes.
Where Tarantino style will be 3 hours long.
Yeah, and most of that's just like talking about some pop culture thing or whatever.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, you still go with it, and you don't realize how long the movie is because he's a great writer. But these guys keep it more simple and quick.
It's very
dialogue's
scripted.
It's got a Tarantino edge style to it, but it's got the Coen brothers take on it, which is just quick, simple, but catchy.
Yeah, and very tightly scripted and plotted, and every single scene and line of dialogue has a point. There's a scene coming up later on with Margie's old school friend Mike, which a lot of people have criticised as being pointless, but that is actually the most important scene in the film in terms of the plot and where it goes. But we'll get to that soon enough.
When we talked, I talked about a second ago about how we kind of like the lovable bad guys, but once, and this isn't Buscemi's fault, but he's still a bad guy, he's still involved.
Oh yeah.
Once Gare kills the cop, this movie turns for me. And now this guy, I want this fucker dead. And especially when he goes after the two onlookers and he shoots that poor woman in the car after being in an accident in the head and he shoots the man in the back trying to run away.
Cold blood, yeah.
Just cold-blooded. You went from this little almost like crying caper farce to this, okay, this movie's dark.
Yeah, totally.
And that is a Coen style. Blood Simple went that way.
Well, it's what all great cinema and storytelling should do. It should pull the rug and shock you and surprise you, you know?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. And it takes, you realize this movie's about an hour and a half. I think it's like 93 minutes or 98 minutes or something like that. We're not introduced to Marge till 33 minutes into it.
That's right. Yeah. I don't even, I know she won the Oscar for Best Actress in a Leading Role, but to me this is more of an ensemble, film, and cast. Yes, yeah, I suppose she is, technically the lead role, but, you don't see her for about over half an hour.
Yeah, but her performance, again, not like a broken record, when you were introduced her with the lovable husband Norm, this is the nicest couple on screen in history. He's so kind to her, and you love Marge and her whole.
Can I fix you some eggs, Margie?
She's pregnant. She's always eating, and just a lovable goof.
Yeah, but she's not really a goof,
Yeah, that's my point. The minute she sees John Sayles has a cameo as the partner cop,
yes,
and she goes to the crime scene of the cop and the two the two people who witnessed it.
Yes,
their bodies. She knew right away.
Yeah,
they witnessed
he gets
this
it
cop
wrong.
being killed.
Her partner gets it wrong, and then she says, "Don't think I agree with you, detective work there." And he goes, "What do you mean, Margie?"
It was again. She called it out.
Yes.
He just because he didn't realize DLR meant dealer plates.
Yeah,
didn't mean he was an idiot. He was just, but he was still trying to. You put the pieces together, I guess you can say, and that's where Margie goes. No, DLR is a dealer plate.
No, but it also the scene serves to sort of tell us that while she's very nice and kind of quirky and stuff, she's not stupid either.
I don't think any of them are. That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
You got these two hitmen who are supposedly the badass of the group, and now they're violent scumbags that they're about to. You almost feel sorry for Marge because you don't want her to put herself in a situation where she could be killed, especially in her condition with her being pregnant. And she's very likable. But I just love everything about her and the hunt and how she puts the pieces together to go to Brainerd and so forth is just wonderful. And it's so quick and to the point, but smart at the same time.
Yeah.
It doesn't cheat. And that's a big one.
No, this plotting here, I would say, go as far as saying the script is as close to perfect as you will get. I know we said something similar about the Back to the Future script, but this script is watertight.
Yeah. Darn tootin'.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love the interview when Marge talks to the hookers.
Oh, I love that. Go Bears. I've been quoting that for years, and there are very few people actually get what I'm talking about when I quote it. There's a couple of people do. A friend of mine, Hannah Riley, she always gets it. That would be our wee thing where we'd like say something good happens, or we're like congratulating each other on something. We would go Bears. So we have been quoting this for years.
It almost sounds like when you do that though, people are going to think Ditka, and the Chicago Bears.
Yes,
but obviously exactly. They're talking about White Bear Lake.
I'm talking
Minnesota.
about Fargo.
White Bear Lake is in Minnesota.
Yeah. Right.
But the two hookers are very funny. Again, hookers, but they're so lovable.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they're hookers, but they're listed as hookers in the credits.
Oh no, they are. They're the prostitutes that Buscemi and Stormare hire out, in the room, and then it cuts, and then they're watching the TV. And they're talking about Margie's going, like trying to press him, going, so what did your one look like? He goes, well, he was kind of funny looking. So he was, in what way funny looking? He goes, well, he wasn't circumcised. It's like,
Yeah. It's just okay. Yeah. Okay. And Marge just plays it so Marge. Yeah, Marge, the character plays it so straight. Like, okay,
Oh, yeah.
thank you. Like their information they're telling her is so valuable.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
You. Yeah, yeah, and you're almost talking about. I think it's and the other one says, "Oh, my guy, he looked like the Marlboro Man." And he goes, "The Marlboro Man." He goes, "Well, I think that's maybe because he smoked a lot of Marlboro. Like a subconscious thing." Yeah,
Yeah, like she's being all smart and
yeah. And Margie's playing along with her. Oh yeah.
So when Marge goes to meet her old friend from high school,
Yes, Mike.
yeah, when she's doing that, unfortunately, poor Gene gets it.
Yes.
That's tough watch.
Yeah.
When Gene gets it, he's such a pig. This character, the great thing is, in the next movie I saw Peter Stormare in after this movie, was his big Hollywood. This put him on the map.
Jurassic Park 2, wasn't it?
That was Armageddon.
Yes. He was
Him and Steve Buscemi are both in that.
That's right.
And
yeah.
They did that on purpose because they work so well together on this
Yeah.
one. And he plays the Russian who's been, he's pretty much claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But
He's also in, I think, one of the Jurassic Parks. I think the second one.
yeah, he's that guy works every day.
He's still working. Yeah.
Yeah, he's always nice to see. But he's such a vile character to go from this role to I'm saying Armageddon. It's
But he plays it brilliantly here. So he does.
Yeah.
I mean, you know this guy is a sinister, bad bastard.
he doesn't smile. He doesn't grin.
Talk.
He doesn't frown.
Yeah.
He just kills this poor woman.
Yeah.
And
He is ruthless.
Again, going back to the way this film was projected, we thought we were going to get a good comedy crime caper, but this turns into just a bloodbath.
Yeah.
But as this is happening, Marge, as you were saying, was talking to her. Was it high school sweetheart or just a friend?
No, he was just a classmate. But he basically phones her and says, "I saw you on the news, Margie, and wanting to meet up with her. Due to the reports on the news about the murders." But it turns out, and a lot of people say that this is a pointless scene. It's very awkward to watch. Because he is obviously disturbed, and he's going, "I always loved you, Margie," and he's like trying to sit beside her and get on with her. But it's at this point, because this is after Marge's first interview with Jerry Lundegaard. But after then this cringeworthy meeting with him where he's lying, saying that he was married to another school friend of theirs, but she died of cancer. But then after this, Marge talks to her female friend on the phone, and she confirms that this is all lies and this guy's got serious problems. This is the point when Marge realizes that she needs to go back and speak to Jerry Lundegaard, because she now realizes that he's lying too.
Because of the way her friend was behaving, she saw the same mannerisms in Jerry.
100%. Yes. Okay. So
I didn't catch that.
This scene is crucial because it basically leads her to solving the case. And realizing that Jerry has been leading her up the garden path the whole time, just like Mike was, but obviously in more. I know he was a bit creepy and weird, but he didn't kill anyone, to be fair to Mike. Whereas Jerry Lundegaard is responsible for everything in this film.
Yeah.
So he is.
Yeah, he finally loses it when Marge goes back to the dealership and says, "I need an inventory. How do you keep inventory?"
Yes.
And he decides to drive off. That's where the APB gets put up.
Buscemi has upped the ante in terms of the money he wants off Jerry. Because, Live's a brilliant phone call where he goes, "Don't fucking ever interrupt me, little man," or something like that to Jerry. But he wants more money, basically. But then Wade has become involved, and he says, I'm not messing around, Jerry." And Wade's superb. I love Wade. And he's taking no nonsense. So he goes to do the drop-off with the money, and that's when it really starts going wrong.
Yeah.
So it does.
Well, the beginning scene was even better when Carl had to go to check out the spot where they're going to meet.
Yes.
And he just goes to the rooftop, and then he goes back down, and he refuses to pay the $4.
But here again, that's basically that connects to an earlier scene where he's basically parked his car whenever he's going to meet Jerry in Brainerd, and the guy with his like a stupid grin on his face charges him even though he just went into the car park and didn't park his car, and he's always says, "What do you think? You're a big fucking man sitting there with your stupid suit, all this here, your stupid name tag." And then it's later on, then when this happens to him again, he has problems with a car park attendant. He shoots him dead. So he does.
He doesn't kill him.
The second one he does after dealing with Wade. The first one he doesn't. Whenever he meets Jerry, but after he shot Wade dead and then being shot himself. Later on, when Jerry arrives and sees the aftermath at the car park, Wade dead and stuff. Whenever Jerry comes back there.
Yes. I was talking about the first one when the cars are
No, he
honked.
doesn't. No, he doesn't kill the first one. But that's what's planted the seed and started pissing him off about car park attendants. So that's basically one of the other reasons why that poor car park attendant gets it the second time. The second car park attendant.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, and then you've got it's pretty much the last 10 minutes are so fucking quick.
Yeah.
You have Buscemi shooting Wade, and burying the money. He's pretty much in panic mode now. He knows the money's a lot more than what they originally planned.
Yeah.
He tells obviously Gare that here's your 40, here's my 40. I'm taking the car. I got shot in the fucking face. I'm taking the car.
We split the car. How the fuck do you split a car, you dummy?
You know what? I would have let him have it because he's nuts.
Oh, totally. Again, this goes back to the greed thing. This Fargo overall is a morality tale. It's basically Twilight Zone but without supernatural stuff. It's a morality tale about greed and being content with your lot in life. Whereas on one side you have Jerry and you have Carl and the likes, and it's all about the greed and the money for them, and they'll go to any length to get what they want. But then on the other side you have Margie and her husband Norm, and they're I loved a really nice scene at the very end where he finds out that he came second in the stamp art competition, and he's a wee bit disappointed. He goes, we're doing all right.
Yeah, so, but the piggyback on the morality tale, it's pretty much summed up by Marge when she's driving him to jail.
Yes.
The chipper situation. And all she says to him is, Mrs. Lundengard, your accomplice, then the three in Brainerd, all for a little money.
Yep.
And she says, life is more about money. And she's driving him, and then all she says is, here we are, and it's a beautiful day.
Yep. Beautiful, like, sort of writing,
Yeah.
It's almost poetic or Shakespearean. So it is, the whole story overall.
But after all the scene of ugliness, we wrap up with the two nicest people in the film.
Yeah.
And they just talk about, there's a nice little scene where you talk about the stamp, where he gets upset, and then she comforts him going, well, when they do the price of stamps, when they raise the price of stamps, they're going to need your 3-cent stamp.
Yeah.
And just to give him a little peace of mind. And that's it. So the movie ends.
Yeah. Brilliant. Apparently, I've read reports over the years that, the way there's this fake tagline at the start of the film to say, this is true.
This is, yeah.
Apparently, there was some young Asian woman in real life went looking basically the money that Buscemi buries in the snow, and apparently died, froze to death or something. I don't know how true that is, or, but...
What an idiot.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's obviously not real, even if it was, would you go to all that cost and bother? Again, goes back to the all for a little money,
Yeah. Well, there you go. Fargo. Yeah, it's definitely up there. It's not my favorite Coen brothers, but it does still hold up. Maybe because it does. I think mainly it doesn't overstay its welcome. But as you peel the layers back and you watch it through a different lens here, or I kind of see more like the fact Jerry's pretty much the asshole of the group. But there you go.
Yep. I would say, yeah, for me, it's one of the all-time greats. And it always will be. Yes, it doesn't quite have as much power as it did over me, on my earlier viewings of it. but I think that's probably because we've seen it too many times. So yeah, it's one of the greats.
We're gonna wrap this one up. We got Trevor's pick. Next one.
Bullshit.
Yes, you picked it. It is Christmas at Dollywood.
Oh no.
I'll tell you more about that story. Why Trevor picked it, because he says it's his Bible, and we are going to talk about that later. Now, where are we, Trevor, with the new issue of Phantasmagoria?
It's coming very, very soon. Let's just say. Watch this space. No spoilers. But by the time this podcast goes out, give it a day or two, and all will be revealed then.
Well, it will be revealed. I'm in it again as usual because they
Yep.
need the numbers to go up, and so I am there to help that. People love my reviews. That's fact.
Yeah, Kieran's in there with reviews of Maxine and In a Violent Nature, which sort of
There you
mirrors him in real life in a violent nature, especially
Fucking
when
right.
I suggest films that turn psychotic on me. But there you
Yeah.
go.
Like Christmas at Dollywood.
Well,
All right,
we'll-
guys,
we'll
give
get
us
to
a
that.
shout. Give us a shout at CitizenFrame_podcast on Instagram and, of course, Facebook. Bashful shout out to everyone who downloaded our Pete Atkins special. That has done really well for us. We're going to try to do more of those. So hopefully down the road we'll be able to partner up with some more screenwriters and maybe even get Pete back on, have a little more of a chat. That's all we got. You guys take care of yourselves. All the best.